Okay, this is an open letter to the developers of Home Sweet Home Survive. Before I start, let's make very clear. Let's make it very clear. I love Home Sweet Home Survive. Both survivors and spectators have objectives to complete and means to do so. Besides a prisoner, which I'll talk about later, the game requires players to have interactions with each other, which is true especially at the end game. And by the way, I really do love the exorcism mechanism of the game. Exorcism is actually quite fun. But with the steady reduction of players, I think it is about time I talk about what went wrong and what is still wrong with this game. So first part is lack of promotion. I don't know about any promotion in Thailand because I don't speak Thai, but I know there are very few promotions in England English for sure. Are you relying purely on the word of mouth to get the momentum of the game going? What is the goal here? What is your goal here? Did you want about 1,000 players and that's it? Is that what you wanted, devs? Right? Judging from the number of reviews on Home Sweet Home and the Home Sweet Home Episode 2, the number of reviews on Home Sweet Home Survive is much bigger, much larger, which probably indicates that it was a bigger success than you guys thought it would be initially, right? Is this why there are no promotions? I mean, at the moment, Asymmetrical Horror Survival has only one game on PC essentially. It's Dead by Daylight. Others just kind of died essentially due to lack of update, bad balancing, and copyright infringement, and etc. Okay. By the way, Home Sweet Home is close to matching all these problems right now as well. The only reason Dead by Daylight has survived is lack of competition. This DBD also has 2 out of 3 problems I mentioned just now. So, I digress. Going back to the promotion part. Knowing that Home Sweet Home has received phenomenal amount of interest from players across the world, why no promotions? Are you waiting to fix the game to perfection before starting any promotion? So when interest was there, and still is to be fair, judging from the number of new people I see, the only promos I get from this game right now are just about skins. That is literally the only announcements I see. So here's a question. Where is the promotion? Right, second part I want to talk about is about bugs and exploits. Okay, this is another problem with the game. To be clear, I still think that devs have done a very good enough job here so far. I mean, bugs exist. Exploit exists. It is just nature of programming that when you fix one bug, 2 more comes up to, take its place. However, I do sense that devs lack a sense of urgency. I know you guys are working. I know you guys can fix it, but there's no urgency about it. Look at the whole animation cancel and the item duplication issue. Look at the current lobby bug. These are critical issues that actually affect the game a lot, and it just took too long to fix. The former, animation cancel and item duplication, took almost a month to get fixed, even though it is game breaking. And the current lobby bug is still not fixed, and is very close to being a month as well. In any case, here are a current list of bugs that I know and experienced. Now, I do not think devs can fix all this all at the same time. I do not expect devs to fix all these problems at the same time. Now, I fully expect the game to break at one point or the other. However, if there is a serious game-breaking issue, they do need to be prioritized and fixed. If this can't be done, just please communicate with your communities to urge them not to abuse these exploits and ask for understanding. Right. What is the ETA and the fixes? Okay. Which problems are you fixing first? Does it match community's expectations? If bug fixes are slow, what's causing it? And where are you having difficulties? Okay, so telling all these things to the users doesn't actually fix bugs. Sure, of course not, right? But it's communicating these so hard that we don't hear anything from devs for weeks. Is this okay? Okay. In fact, let me move on to that. Okay, as next problem. So let's move on to the next problem with this game. And that's communications. So communications, right. So okay, so devs are from Thailand, right? So I get devs can't really relay messages in English very well. I get that. But when you have so many outlets of information, you got social media, you got Discord, you got Steam forums, for example, but you don't communicate at all. Besides the Thai player base, which I don't know much of obviously at this point, how effective are your communications? Looking outside of your outlets of information, your internal customer services email is terrible as well. It is automated copy and paste response. I point out the issues, compile them, and I do that on literally on the patch days as well. I send them as an email, and then I get the automated email saying the devs are aware of the problems and they're working on it. Like, no, you don't, because these are new issues that literally just appeared after the latest patch, right? As stated before, I know this is early access, but lack of transparency on what the devs are doing, or even acknowledging issues, make it look like they simply don't care. Now this ties in with their lack of urgency about the whole bug fix issues, the critical issues. It feels very much like devs are just happy as long as there are whales out there buying cosmetics via the incredibly predatory loot box system. You wanna know what is really bad about these communications? Last time, animation cancel exploiters were banned, okay? Great. But this ban was only announced only through Discord, which is not great. Now, because of these previous known issue with the animation cancel bans, users have questioned use of something called item juggling on official Discord as well. And we've had message from moderators saying, we'll get back to you. It's been now 2 weeks with no answer, no official answer. Just saying, oh, try not to use it, is the best answer we got from mod. There's no official stance on these kind of things. So what the hell? Why can't we simply communicate with your communities? Why is that so hard? Next part I want to talk about is probability and statistics. So far, everything I've talked about earlier is about, talk about lack of promotion, lack of urgency in critical bug fixes, and total silence in communication. I mean, these are somewhat straightforward. You can see why this affects your game, right? So here's something else to think about. Lack of transparency of in-game mechanics. So I'm talking about probability and statistics. And I wanted to talk about rampant RNG issue in the game first of all, okay? And lack of transparency surrounding it that is not really pointed out by anyone. So every game has some RNG element to it. That's not bad. In fact, there's a skill and there's an RNG element to it. So someone reduce that skill gap between the really good people, the newbies, and the old bees. The veterans of the game and the newbies. If you're gonna put them both in the same game, the RNG element, someone reduce the skill gap. Okay, it's like game of poker if you think about it. The RNG is that we can end up with a really good hand or really bad hand. But if you play the game of poker really to your advantage, if you play it right, you can still win with a really bad hand. Because poker is not just about what you get, right? So this game is similar in that sense. But in Home Sweet Home, RNG is too strong. So first of all, if you play this game in solo queue, you're already starting with an RNG. Your teammates is going to be completely random. So if you play solo queue survivors, your teammates are random. Getting a good teammate itself is an RNG. Okay? Then there's an in-game RNG, such as frequency of skill checks, which affect your progress as well of rituals. Everything you do, skill checks makes difference in time. And what item comes out from the chest when you farm them is also RNG. Now, as I said before, RNG itself isn't bad. But when it starts to dictate the outcome of a game, then it's bad. You can't have a game just purely based on RNG. You could pressure Survivor as a Spectre, for example, then suddenly, everyone's fully healed. Same with the Survivors at the end of the game. So everyone's fully healed, and you don't know all the rituals, but you don't get a single chaplet to drop. You just get sigils and stamina drinks. What do you do? I mean, to be fair, on the Survivor side, it's not much more of an issue because you got more time to farm and whatnot. But seriously, what the hell? If users have some idea on what the percentage of getting a certain item is, that's one thing. If users had ideas on what each perk actually do, when the perks say they have a chance to do certain things, right? If you actually had an idea what they actually do, what chances it is, that would be great. But currently, the game has no transparency on this. There isn't anything in the game that's actually clear to players. Give you an example. What does adrenaline do? Do you know how much it makes you faster by? Does it work when you're running? Does it work when you're walking? How much difference does a point of HP, stamina, and expertise have? Where does that say it in the game? Okay, if you know the answer to this, thanks for watching my videos, right? But honestly, these values can change anytime as well because it's not written anywhere. It's not written anywhere at all. So this is a problem right here. Players do not know the values of anything in game, and that these can change anytime without notice. So if I said health potion has 5% probability of spawning, okay? Then change it to 10% or something like that to buff it, or 2% to nerf it. So that's balancing, because I said there's a 5% chance, and then I'm changing the chance. That's called balancing. Adrenaline, is it too strong? Okay, so let's just say it had a 20% bonus movement, and I'm gonna reduce it down to 10% then. Okay, that's balancing, right? But because none of these probability and statics are available, devs can change these anytime without any prior notice. It can be amended without you even knowing about it. For all you know, it might already have. And you know what? If you think about the chest item rate spawns, right? If you play this game since the beginning to now, you know the item rate has definitely changed. They even said it, but we don't know what they changed to. Now let's look at the inspector side. How do I know helmet triggers every third hit? Well, actually, I don't know that. Not now, unless I do a test. Actually, I don't know. How do I know if stamina drain is fixed now? What about take a rest, recharging your stamina 20% faster? Can I be sure of it? Now? Can anyone be sure of it? Ultimately, information players know about this game is all user tested. Nothing has been given up by the devs at all. So all these values can certainly change, especially without users knowing about it. So it comes down to this. Can you trust the devs? Normally, this is the part where you go say, yeah, you can trust the devs. But let me point a few things out. Devs who have a very predatory loot box system. Devs who has not been fast at fixing problems with the game. Devs who have not been communicating with the community. Right? Like I said, the devs already did this changes to item rate with the chest nerf. So item rate has changed. Players just don't know how it has changed. Now, have they changed anything else? I don't know. And I certainly don't want to waste hours of testing everything I have tested before either. No thank you, come on. So here's a question. Why can't you reveal game mechanics related numbers? Why can't you reveal game mechanic related numbers at all? Like, because at the end of the day, you can change these numbers and call it balancing, buffs and nerfs. So what is stopping devs from revealing these? And tell you what, it literally takes one fuck up to lose players' trust. You change something in the game and suddenly the game just breaks, right? And whether it was intentional or an error in coding doesn't matter at that point. Because at that point, you fucked up and you just lose all the trust. I know I've played the games and I've seen the games who's done that. Game just loses so much, just bleeds players when you do that, when that happens. So revealing this information isn't even a problem. This can be changed by, like I said, buffs and nerfs anytime. So in fact, if you reveal these numbers, you will get feedbacks from the community. So right now, we can't even give you feedback on, oh, hang on a second, is health potion item spawn rate too much? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't know. Is the chaplet spawning enough? I don't know. Is there too many stamina drinks? I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Right. Last thing I want to talk about, speaking of buff and nerfs, is balancing. Okay. Current state of the game is awful when it comes to balancing. Right? So only way this game is Only reason that this game is somewhat surviving is because of bad matchmaking. Bad matchmaking is actually making the game balanced in a sense. It's weird, right? So survivor-wise, there's a problem with Jane. Okay, she is the most picked survivor. If you go to any single game, if you launch the game, go play as a survivor, play as Spectre, you will see a Jane, guaranteed, without a fail. There will always be a Jane. She has most effective HP after resurrection, and she has more stamina. She got no drawback on self-res. In fact, you don't need to res Jane at all. Just leave her, do a ritual. Doesn't matter. Why do you want to res her? Because when she comes back with half HP, that's same as other people who's coming back. Why is she a lot stronger than, say, Nipa? Spectre side-wise, both Nymph and Prisoner promotes an unfun playstyle with a little counterplay as well. Nymph, not so much in the end, because she's weaker, but Prisoner, definitely. Okay? Playing against Prisoner might as well be playing against the brick wall, because you don't get to interact at all. I still don't understand why Nymph's melee attack is an active perk, and range attack is a normal attack. Should be the other way around. Now, not to mention, Belle has ridiculous 90-second cooldown on her teleport as well. And as well as her insane speed. You shouldn't have buffed Belle. You should have nerfed Jane. But, hey ho. Another point to raise about the balance right now is skill floor. Skill floor is really high for survivors, but it's really low for specters. But once both sides have racked enough hours of experience, survivors are just stronger in this game as well. But this is kind of understandable from the whole asymmetrical gameplay, right? But a team of good survivors have no counterplay from the specter side. None whatsoever. None. But I can't suggest just buffing specters, because specters become a lot more oppressive than they already are for the newbies if you buff specters. And the whole issue with the skill floor is the skill floor is way too high for survivors at this point. Honestly, don't know how you can deal with this. I honestly don't know this, but it is a problem. Okay, it creates a brick wall for new players while creating incredibly long queue times for veteran players, since nobody wants to play Spectre basically. And I don't know what the dev team's balance goal is here either, since there's no communications. I don't know whether you want 1 kill to be balanced or 2 kill to be balanced. I don't know. But if you have the communications, we'd know. But hey ho, I can't give you feedback on that because you don't communicate. All the problems I've mentioned so far just wraps up into one. There's a problem. Then they're all related. Okay? So, right, in closing this, I just want to reiterate that I do love this game. And I want it to do well. Right? I can't go back to Dead by Daylight anymore because Home Sweet Home is just so much more fun. Okay? If I didn't like this game, I wouldn't be bothering to spend my time to make this kind of video and send it. I wouldn't be bothering with my time to make something like this. I wouldn't. If I didn't like it, I'd just say, fuck it, and go off and find something else. But I love it. It's really, I want it to do well. I mean, I really, really hope issues gets fixed. Okay? And devs put more effort in creating content for longevity of the game. I really do. But yeah, but things need to be addressed quickly as possible. Please, I mean, communication doesn't take long. We know you're in early access. We all know we are in early access. So just saying that we don't have enough manpower, we are expected to do this by X, Y, Z, that will please a lot of the player base. We are all here supporting you. So I really do hope that these things do get fixed. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this, and until next time, bye bye.